Hey guys, what is up? Jeff here for One Fish, Two Fish with another video in our One Fish, Two Fish Explain series. This is just something that we do for stuff that we get asked all the time from customers, from comments, from emails, and that sort of thing. Stuff that you guys are interested in and just are something that we usually only deal with more than, so we ask questions, you guys ask us, we try to figure it out for you. So what we're going to show you guys today, something we get asked all the time in all of our systems, mostly the 1350, is how do we keep, with the stupid amount of stuff that we have in there, how do we keep it clean? I'm going to highlight a product in this, which is not something I'm going to really do in these videos very much, because we're not doing these videos to sell anything. We have a retail store that we do all that in. This is not for that. There is going to be one product basically because my manager loves it so much that he's going to yell at me if I don't shout it out. So I'm going to show you guys how we run it. I'm going to show you what we were doing. I'm going to show you what we changed, and I'm going to kind of tell you the issues we had along the way and what we did to actually fix them. That has actually literally cut our work in half, which is, if you guys know, and you do, working on fish tanks for the most part is, a lot of effort. There's the water changes all the time, the chemicals all the time, keeping everything, the levels. The biggest thing you can do for your fish tank is to keep everything stable. Stable, stable, stable. For everything, you will do well. Especially with a saltwater tank, even if your levels are not bang on, if you keep them stable, again, if you're going to do it, get them bang on, do exactly what you want, which is impossible. They do fluctuate. Case in point, my Red Sea Reefer, I'll show you in a minute, that used to have a whole bunch of SPS corals in it, about 60 pieces. We took all of those out, and in 2 days the alkalinity went from 8 to 11. That was constantly dosing what we're doing. So that's how much alkalinity those SPS were gobbling up and sucking up. Over a course of 48 hours, it went up 3 points, which is quite a bit, and the dosing didn't change. So there was nothing in it at the time. The dosing just kept going. I was kind of curious to see how much it would do, and the alkalinity shot through the roof. So, which if I'd have still had the SPS in it, regardless of 11 being way too high for SPS, the shock of the 8 to 11 would have been a lot harder on them. The shock of 11 down to 8, which would have been a much better spot for them. The shock of the movement would have been a lot worse on them as well, even if you were going to the spot where you should be. So I'm going to give you guys a quick look at so the biggest tank that we get asked, and I don't know that I've ever showed you guys this in a video, but I'm going to show you the back end of our 1350. So the company that built this, Shout Out Concept Aquariums in Calgary, they did a really good job of the overflow to the point of you can't even really see it. Now keep in mind, this is a 5-foot deep tank, so it is far enough back that it's tricky. You can kind of see the little teeth and the top of the box there, but it is far enough back that you don't even really see it. For us, where most tanks are only 18 inches or 24 inches or maybe 30 inches deep, you do kind of see the standout overflow box. Ours you do not. So here is the sump. This is the start of almost every one of our systems. We use filter socks because most of our systems are very big. Filter socks are your best friend. They're super easy to maintain. They're relatively cheap for a couple of them. Most people will buy a couple sets. They'll take one out, they'll add a new one, then they'll clean it. You can wash them in the washing machine, which is what we do. Now that will take a toll on them. At some point you will have to throw them out. But those are your best friends. So I'll show you in a handful of systems that we have. A lot of them will have filter socks in them. So what we get asked more so of how do we do it is what we use to do it. So this is a tight squeeze back here, guys. So when you get in, you will see a lot of our systems have Marine Pure in them. And Marine Pure will work a couple different ways depending on if the flow is running through it or if they're just sort of sitting there. We've got a bunch of we have about enough for 800 gallons, which technically actually isn't even enough for this tank. but there's a whole bunch of balls over there. There's a bunch of bricks here. There's a bunch of the smaller coarse pond ones in there. And then you come through, and then you've got your heaters in here. Again, the return pump over in the corner. Again, this is very tricky to see because, you know, it's only about a foot and a half in space to walk back here. So, you know, there's not a ton. We have everything on timers, all of the lights, because the lights that we use on this tank are just Lumi lights. Very cost-effective lights. I don't know if you guys can see them. They're very cost-effective lights, just a cheap version of a nice light. They're not, you can't do anything with the ones that we used, but we put them on timers, so they're fairly easy that way. We've got 4 of them on this tank. Could probably use a 5th one, but right now we have 4. So that is sort of with the sump. That is sort of what is on our 13. Now again, I'll show you one of the inside ones. That is Bailey trying to run me over. So again, as I have told you guys, let's see if we can get a, like everything, almost all of our systems, you will run into some filter socks the first thing. Again, we do like the marine pier here. A couple of bricks of marine pier, a little basket full, another basket full, a couple of heaters. There's always a couple of heaters in each of the tank. One to make sure it's running, one for a backup, and then usually one big one that's running the whole thing. And then the return pump again. So what I'm going to show you guys, the product that we have found did a world of good for us. It's in that section right over there where most of the water is all draining in. And then the other system over there, it's just the exact same sump. So showing us that is not the end of the world. The product that we use for most of those, so that is just enough for all that does for us for what I'm showing you for the most part. It catches anything that's big, you know, anything that goes through that tank that is large. I've zoomed in way too quick here. Anything that is large, the filter socks will catch, and then the marine pier is your biological, which, you know, every tank has or needs. It should have some type of, I'm just looking at my Oscars here going crazy. It needs something for a biological filtration, which is what actually cleans your tank for you for the life of the tank. It is what is cleaning your tank at night. It is what is cleaning it in the day. It is what is cleaning it when you're not doing anything. So when you feed your tank, the nitrates, the ammonia, all that stuff will go through, and your good bacteria will help eat away the bad stuff. Now, sometimes it can need some help. So this tank is 1,350 gallons, as you guys know. It is full of monsters, as you guys know, and it is full of little piggies that eat a ton of food. What does that mean? That means they eat a lot, they poop a lot. So the nitrates in this tank have been a constant fight. We had the nitrates at, now this is, in full disclosure, I do not find that this level of nitrates is super duper high. Now I know I'm probably going to make some of you guys fall over when I tell you the level, because it is high. I know that it's high, but high nitrates, if it is over time, usually isn't going to kill a fish. Now it's not good for a fish long term. Do not get that twisted what I'm saying. If your levels are as high as ours, you've got to do something about it. We were to the point of we were doing 25% water changes to this tank 2 to 3 times a week just to keep up with it. There was a minute where the tank was almost more work than it was worth. Thankfully, it's a beautiful, large, we love the fish in it, so we get the work done. But it was taking up 4 or 5 hours every week of maintenance. Obviously, the water changes in this take some time for just the water to drain and for the water to fill back up. And then you've got to clean all the water. You've got to have water ready before it goes into this tank, which actually takes up a full bucket of one of our water that we have ready. So one of the things for you guys to take a look at, and again, I'm not ever, you're going to hear me do this very, very few times. I'm not going to talk about a lot of products unless if I do, I assure you we're not getting paid anything for any of this stuff. We probably sell it, obviously, but it's something we use. The product that we added to this tank, my manager actually had asked me, he said, I use it at home a lot. I didn't buy it because for what we needed to do, it was going to cost about $1,000. And in my brain, I just couldn't compute $1,000 into what we were doing. Now, the joys of this tank, or this product is Seachem Purigen. you can buy little bags for most tanks. You know, they're just about this big. They're 15 bucks in most places, 14 to 16, $17 in that range. Now remember, that's Canadian dollars because we're in Canada. And they'll do 100 gallons of water. So this is just a bright white powder. I'm actually going to, let's take a walk over here and let's show you guys what I'm talking about. Let's say hi to Neobird. Hi, Neobird. Hi, Neobird. Oh, there's Nemo saying hi to you guys. Say, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. That's Neobird. So this is the product that I'm talking about. I don't actually know where it is. So there is different varieties of this. This is it right here. So this is not, the most common version of this is in a bag that does 100 gallons. So if I'm correct, this will do 250 gallons, this will do 500 gallons. So just to show you guys, and you can imagine the amount of gallons of water we need to do is 1, 2, 3. I think we figured it to about 10,000 gallons was what we were trying to accomplish. So it cost us obviously a small fortune to buy enough to do it all. Now, the joys of this product, and for the most part, every time I have used it, I've never done this. When we sell it, we always tell customers you can do it, but I think 7 or 8 out of 10 people just don't because of how you do it. Again, it isn't rocket science to do, but some people just don't like adding bleach to products that they're going to use in their aquarium, myself included. But with the amount we were going through, we didn't have a choice. We were going to have to do it. But since we have done it, it has worked out spectacular. So we bought enough to do 10,000 gallons of water twice. The reason we did that, obviously, is when we run it dry, we take it out, we put the new one in, and then we take the old one and we regenerate it. This is a product that you can actually use over and over and over and over again. It has the directions right on the back of it. You add some bleach, you mix it, you let it sit. It will actually clean all of the Purigen up for you, and it will give you brand new Purigen again. So we bought double what we needed so that we didn't ever have to do without it. So in our 1350, we were doing at one time 3 25% water changes a week. We were doing 300 gallons up to 3 times a week. Every week it was getting done twice. A lot of weeks it was getting done 3 times, and that was to keep the nitrates at 40. Now 40 is a scarier number than it actually is. 40 nitrates is high. It's not deadly high. It's a pain high, and it's a pain when you can't get rid of them. So we had thrown in a bunch of, and again, I'm not going to show any of this stuff because in the variety we were doing it, we weren't focused on that product to actually see if it was helping. If it wasn't, we weren't testing it enough to see when we added it if it was. But we have added a bunch of filter pads. We have added everything from the nitrate pads to the phosphate pads to everything to kind of try to keep all this stuff down. And it just never helped enough that it was noticeable. We couldn't get them. We would get them down to 35 and then 30, and then the week after it would be right back to 40. So we just weren't able to do anything. So after that, we added a ton of Purigen to this tank. Again, the recommended amount that it says. We made up 2 big batches for it. We added it. Within a week, it brought the nitrates from 40 down to 20. Within 2 weeks, it brought them down to about 10. And within 3 weeks, it brought them down to about 5. That, never mind how awesome that is, but that was with 1 water change a week. So now this tank gets a water change Sunday or Monday, and it gets 20%, and that's it. So that was a product that when we added it, did a world of good in our tank. So that is something we get asked all the time. How do you guys keep, it takes me 2 hours a week cleaning my fish tank, and I've got 1. How do you guys take care of 700? The big and small of it is we use products that help. We've used 700 products in a lot of cases, so we know which ones we like. So the joys of when you do shop with us, a lot of the information we are giving you is definitely from personal experience. It is from employee tanks. It is from store tanks. We do have a lot of experience with it. So usually that is a very good product that if you're fighting nitrates, if you're fighting different high levels in that area. It is a very inexpensive try to see what it does for you. So guys, if you guys like that, if you've got any comments for it, if you use Purigen, if you like it, if you've ever had any bad experiences with it, absolutely knock them down in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.